Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. As usual, I'll give it a few minutes for people to join. Hello, Dale. How are you? I know I started the stream a little earlier than normal. I have things to do at 8:30, so yeah. I hear you, brother. I'm tired of working too. One day I'll put an end to that. So last Saturday, the one of the local gun ranges in town had Staccato Day, and that was really cool. I'll be right with you, Dale. Um, Staccato brought every pistol they make. They had them set up on tables. They supplied the gun and the ammo. So I got to shoot every model Staccato there was. Man, they are sweet. Dale, to answer your question, I am in IT. Um, I've been in IT for a long time. I'm a solutions architect, specializing in database programming. No wonder why you're tired of working. That's got to be hard work. Is it carpet you install or tile, linoleum flooring? Because I watched the guys install our carpet, and the amount of pounding they do with their knees on that tool is just grueling to watch. That Staccato Day was awesome, Mike. I got to tell you. Um, Unfortunately, they only gave you 5 rounds on each gun, but still, they shoot really nice. They didn't have anything um, cheaper than 2 grand. Um, if they made a Staccato in 45 ACP, I may actually think about getting one. Yeah, that's a tough living at that age, Dal. I mean, fortunately, I'm in IT and I'm 66, um, and I just sit in a chair all day long. So that's got to be really strenuous for you there. But when I do retire, I'm going to just do gun stuff. And I see we got the liberals coming out of their parents' basements already. So I will hide you. Yeah, I remember I had carpeting installed, And I watched those guys pound that thing with their knees, man. That's got to be brutal. I don't even know how they walk at the end of the day. And then when the guy put down our kitchen floor, he was on his knees for hours. I don't know how they get up and walk after doing that. Give him a lot of credit. So they had every one of the staccatos had an optic on it. One of them had a suppressor. I never shot with a suppressor before. Um, I don't know. I still don't think it's all it's cracked up to be, but um, I did do it. And I do have some threaded barrels. I bought a threaded barrel for my Ruger RXM just in case I ever do decide to put a suppressor on it. And finally, after a year's delay, Magpul finally came out with the full size grip for the Ruger RXM. Um, I like it a lot. I'm still waiting for the subcompact, but enough for none. A year delay, that's a long time. What do you got going here, Mike? You think you're getting a carbine? You know what, Mike? That's what I'm doing. Um, I have a 357 Magnum revolver with a boatload of ammo, and I will be getting a lever action 357 carbine so I could use the same ammo. I always wanted a lever action. Um, when I was at the gun store Saturday, I picked up the Henry Big Boy and the Marlin, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with the Marlin. The Henry Big Boy's a little over 9 pounds. It's just really heavy. Um, the Marlin's about 6 pounds, and being that Ruger owns Marlin, I know the quality is going to be there. Yeah, that Marlin has a absolutely gorgeous walnut stock. Um, it's checkered. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. The Henry is beautiful too. The Henry Big Boy's got a really nice brass gate on it, um, but it's so damn heavy. It's probably I'm sure it's because of the octagonal barrel, but uh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with the Marlin. Um, another couple months of YouTube monetization checks, and I'll be able to do it. I don't really have much in the way of gun news. I guess that's a good thing. Nice, Dale. Like you said, I like the Henry. It's gorgeous. I like the brass gate. Um, it's just very heavy, and I don't know if my wife would like shooting that. Um, she does come to the range when I shoot, and she does shoot most of my guns. Um, I just think that may be a little too heavy. Not that there's anything wrong with the Marlin. And then I saw the Smith and Wesson, um, 1854, I believe it is. That's just really overpriced. 1,200 bucks is just ridiculous. That's a good combination there, Dale. No, I am not looking for a mount, Mike, or an optic for that matter. I'm old school. I like iron sights. Um, so I'm going to just run it stock. And I don't really shoot long distance anyway. Um, so, it's just going to be a fun range gun. And we do have people on the stream, and it does not show me who you are unless you type in a comment. So if you want me to give you a shout out or let others know who you are, Please feel free to type in hello. Yeah, you know what, Dale? That Uberti is nice. I have the Uberti El Patron 45 Colt. That is a beautiful gun. Very expensive to shoot, but I got to tell you that Uberti 45 Colt is pretty damn close to the Colt Peacemaker. It's very well made for the money. Very good quality. Um, I don't know what the deal is between Uberti and Taylor's and Company. I don't know who owns who, but they're definitely affiliated. Um, but Uberti makes nice single action guns. I was gonna get a Uberti 357 single action. Yeah, I pretty much do as well, Dale, except for 9 millimeter. It's not worth reloading. It's too cheap to buy it. Um, but I reload 10 millimeter, 45 ACP, and 357 Magnum. No, Mike. As far as I know, all the Ubertis are all single action. Um, and I think the reason for that is because they're known for making good quality replicas. A lot of people buy the um, Uberti single actions and they enter the cowboy gun competitions, which is pretty cool. It's something I wanted to do one day. It's just trying to find the time for it. And like I said, I apologize. I started the stream a little earlier than normal. I will be ending the stream at 8:30. Um, the closer we get to the holidays, the more the schedules will change a bit because unfortunately, life gets in the way. Um, I know Christmas Eve is a Wednesday this year. um, it'll just be me and my puppy dog, so I'll probably do the stream anyway and see if anybody joins. Yeah, the Ubertis are just really good quality guns. The replicas of the Colt Peacemakers, though, the only difference is that the Uberti only has one cock position, half cock, full cock. Um, I believe there's three positions on the Colt Peacemaker, but it's also only $400 and some dollars, and um, it's very reliable. I like it a lot. I was looking at the Taurus 10 millimeter the other day. I'm not a huge fan of 10 mil of Taurus, but you know, I do love 10 millimeter. Hey, Gundogan, thanks for joining. Um, no problem. This is very informal. It's no big deal. Um, and I did start it earlier than normal because I had things to do. Um, After the holidays, we'll be back on a more rigid schedule. But Saturday was staccato day at the range, so I didn't do the Saturday stream until 6 o'clock. Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. Um, I'm still not a big fan of Taurus. Unfortunately, they took a lot of heat because they turned out a lot of crap in the 80s in Brazil. Matter of fact, that whole PT series was discontinued um, because they just sucked. Um, Taurus does make very, very good quality revolvers. Their semi-automatics, though, are hit or miss. And yeah, I get it that you get a lifetime warranty, but um, God, you hope you never need it. Their customer service absolutely sucks. Um, I have the G3C and the GX2. I haven't had a single problem with them, but I know a lot of people that had a lot of problems with the Taurus. But I am a huge 10 millimeter fan, and I saw the Taurus 10 millimeter, and it's only 400 and something dollars, and it's striker fired. I mean, and it's hammer fired, which I don't think I've seen a hammer fired 10 millimeter except for my Springfield Ronin 1911. My only concern with the Taurus 10 millimeter is because of the reputation Taurus has. I'm wondering how that frame is going to hold up to 10 millimeter in the long term. But like I said, Taurus they're hit or miss. Hey, Brookside, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining. And no, Mike, I have not shot any of those. I've seen them. I don't know, they just don't interest me. My solution is to get a heavy revolver. I have the Smith & Wesson 686 Deluxe. I have the Colt Python. And I just bought the Ruger GP100. And they mitigate recoil a lot. And Brookside Farm, one of my favorite guns is the Glock 20 10 millimeter. I've had that for about 10 years. I've probably shot 10,000 rounds through it. Have not had a single glitch. In my opinion, the Glock 20 is probably the best 10 millimeter on the market. Unfortunately, Glock decided to discontinue all of their guns and come out with a V series, which I have no interest in Glock now. I would never buy another one. But my Glock 20 is a Gen 3. I prefer the Gen 3. I like the finger grooves. I find it to be more comfortable, but I won't. I would never buy another Glock. I see them in the store. I won't even look at them. And now, and it's not a rumor, Glock is now working on a Gen 6. And what's really stupid is that the Glock Gen 6 at this point should be modular, like the Ruger RXM, the Springfield Echelon, the SIG. And I think that's really going to hurt Glock. My Ruger RXM for $350 shoots as good as my Glock 19, and it's modular. I just replaced the grip module because after a year, Magpul finally came out with the full size. And the jury's out on you being a libtard, William. Don't know you well enough yet. But if it was a year or two ago and a new shooter wanted my opinion on a gun, I would always tell him to get a Glock 19. Now, after having the Ruger RXM and knowing what I know, there's no way I would tell him to buy a Glock. That Ruger RXM for $350 is built as good as my Glock 19. The grip is fantastic. Magpul did an awesome job. It's got a flared mag well. Um, it's Glock Gen 3 compatible. Comes with a tritium front night sight. Um, it's a lot of gun for the money. Well, if I always call you a libtard, then you must say things that make me think you are. But that's just me. There's some, I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to be a Glock poster child. Um, I have about a dozen Glocks, and I'll never get rid of them. But I don't like the fact that they caved. They took their best products, flagship guns, 17 and 19, discontinued them, and uh, came out with the V series. And you know what? The V series wasn't out a week yet, and they have Glock switches for them. They probably have Glock switches already for the Glock Gen 6. So I, you know what? Glock is now Glock is like a cult. They could turn out the biggest piece of crap, just like Apple, and people are going to buy them because Glock has made a living off of their name and reputation. But they haven't done anything innovative in 30 years. Um, and enough for nothing, people bought a Glock because um, they were reliable. But you know what? A Glock is not the only game in town. A Glock is not the only gun that's going to go boom every time. I put my Springfield Echelon. I put my Hellcat Pro, um, my Ruger RXM. I have a lot of my Walthers, my Canics. I have a lot of guns I would put up to my Glock 19, and they're almost $200 cheaper. So, now, unlike Glock, in Connecticut, the Attorney General is threatening to sue Ruger if they don't discontinue the RXM, and it doesn't look like Ruger's going to do that. I don't remember you asking me about a 7.5. I don't think I've ever even heard of it, William. So, but anyway, that is my stance on Glock now. Um, I just don't like that they sold out. Um, and this had to be in the works for a long, long time. You don't just discontinue your normal line of Glocks and then in a month start producing and shipping the V series, and it's not going to be long before you see the Gen 6s out. And maybe it just was a misunderstanding, William. And I'm glad you like our streams, and we like having you. One thing that annoyed the shit out of me last week was the, and don't get me wrong, I love Donald Trump. I voted for him, and I'm a diehard Republican. But it pissed me off last week that they were taking a victory lap over eliminating the $200 tax stamp on the suppressors. And the NRA was calling it one of the biggest advancements in the Second Amendment in 100 years. And it's a bunch of bullshit. That was not a victory. Only thing they did was eliminate the $200 tax stamp. You still can't go to the store and buy one. You still have to fill out ATF Form 4. You still have to get put in a federal database. They just dropped the $200. Unless they get taken off the ATF list, in my opinion, that was by no means a win. And I don't know why they were taking a victory lap for that, but, I was at the NRA convention in Dallas a year ago. And I was there to see Donald Trump speak. And he made a lot of promises he can't keep. Federal reciprocity, never, ever going to happen. The liberal states are never going to adhere to it. They don't care if they get sued. He doesn't have enough votes to pass that. Of course, I'd love to see it, and I'd give him credit for trying, but it's never going to happen. You shouldn't make promises like that you can't keep. And as far as I'm concerned, the Trump administration has done nothing for our Second Amendment rights. I'm hoping it's because there's just a lot of other things going on between the wars and the stuff in Israel and Ukraine and Russia that this just isn't high priority. But I'm being patient and cautiously optimistic. Gundogan. My opinion, it's just me. Instead of going with the M&P Shield, I would go with the Smith & Wesson Equalizer. The Equalizer comes out of the box. It's optic ready. It's internal hammer fired. It's got the easy technology for the slide. I love my Smith & Wesson revolvers. My wife's got the M&P Shield, and she's got the Equalizer. I'm not a fan of the triggers on the Smith & Wesson semi-automatics. I find the Smith & Wesson triggers to be very gritty, but that's just me. I see we do have some new people on our stream. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that. We normally do these streams Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern, and Saturday at 12 noon Eastern, and they last an hour. I did start the stream at about 7:30 today, so we will be ending the stream at 8:30. Again, like I said, with the holidays coming up, people's plans get altered. The closer we get to the holidays, the more the schedule may fluctuate a little bit, but after the new year, we'll be back to a more rigid schedule. And John, thank you for joining, brother. Thanks for the kind words. Glad to have you. I still have a lot of friends in New Jersey. And those of you who know, before we moved to the great state of Tennessee, we used to live in the communist state of New Germany. And now it's still in the courts to determine whether they're going to have a ban on magazines and assault weapons, and where the sensitive places that you can carry. Yeah, Dale, I'm in Tennessee, but I'm in East Tennessee outside of Knoxville, so we are in the Eastern time zone. Nashville is in Central. Gundogan, I bought the 686 Deluxe. I love that. It's a fantastic gun, one of my favorites. Mike, what would I recommend as a pump action? hands down, Mossberg 500. And if you want something a little bit cheaper than that, the Rossi is actually very well made. Um, Rossi is owned by Taurus. Um, Rossi makes a very good quality gun for the money, but personally, that Mossberg 500 has been around forever. It's like the Glock of pump shotguns. Um, I have the Mossberg 500 Persuader, came with a pistol grip and an 18.5-inch barrel, and that's my home defense bad boy. And again, Mike, cheap is kind of ambiguous because everybody's got a different opinion on what cheap means. Yeah, Gundog, and I was on Grab a Gun last week, and they had a Glock 21 45 ACP that was a Leo trade-in. It was like 300 and something bucks. I was really tempted to go for that. I just personally try not to buy used striker-fired guns. Most of the places won't let you strip them down enough to see if the striker has been abused. Yes, Dal, that's a good phrase. Not cheap, just inexpensive. Um, and there is a huge difference. Um, there's a difference between inexpensive. I don't like using the word cheap because when you use the word cheap, you kind of infer that it's inferior quality. So I'll go with Dale. And there are a lot of inexpensive guns out there, but there's nothing cheap about them as far as quality. I was curious when the range had staccato day last week, how many people actually bought one? I know they were giving out discounts, but on a 20-something $100 gun, how much of a discount are you going to get? But there were a lot of people there. We got there early. I think they had 8 or 10 different models, staccatos. You could definitely see the quality. I can definitely appreciate the quality. I'm not so sure I would spend $2,500 on a carry gun. If I shot competition, maybe, but I don't know. It's a little steep for me. Exactly, Dale. Cheap sounds like junk. That's what I said. Um, cheap kind of infers inferior quality. John, took your daughter to the indoor range for the first time? Instructions. I know. Yes, that is correct, John. Depending on the range you go to and the state you live in, when we used to live in New Jersey, before they let you shoot at the range, they actually made you sit in on a condensed firearm safety course and make you sign a waiver. I am also, besides being a NRA instructor, I am also a range safety officer. And it is very common to give instruction to people, especially if they've never shot at the range before, to make sure they know the rules, make sure they know when You call a ceasefire to stop, make sure the gun is pointed in a safe direction. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the range and you could tell people have never sat through a gun safety class and they're over there pointing their guns all over the place. And um, I've kicked people out of gun ranges for that. So, whatever range you took her to, John, good for them. And I misread it, John. I thought you said he gave her instruction. Um, so I retract that. No, it is not normal for a range officer to not give instruction. Um, some of the gun ranges you go to may have like a table, and a typical range safety officer will tell you don't load your guns at the table, bring it to the port and load and unload it there. So that's my bad, John. I wasn't paying attention. I thought you said he gave her instruction. So, no, that is not normal. That is the job of a range safety officer, is to give instruction to people who never shot at that range before. Yeah, that's a good point there, Gundog. Um, I mean, I carry all my guns, but yeah, I'd be really pissed if they took my $1,500 Colt Python or my $1,500 Colt Government model or any of my other expensive guns. But, you know, I also wouldn't carry a piece of crap just because I don't care if they take it. Um, but as far as a Leo trade-in goes, they're actually probably good quality because I know a lot of cops, and honestly, they don't shoot a lot. Um, they qualify once a year. Um, Contrary to what I always thought, a lot of cops are not gun enthusiasts. Um, they don't eat, sleep, and breathe guns like some of us do. It's just a tool for them. And I've seen at the range where law enforcement are probably some of the worst shooters I've ever seen. And as an IT guy and a data analyst, I do a lot of analysis on data as far as guns and gun violence, etc. And according to the data, the statistics show that law enforcement only hits their target 27% of the time. That's pitiful. That's probably why you read every now and then that a suspect, cops shot him 35 times and he was hit twice. And they had 5 guys shooting at him. They are just not the best shooters in the world. And like I said, this stream is for you guys so that we can talk about firearms, Second Amendment, um, pros and cons of firearms and accessories, as long as it's gun related. So, if there are any statements you guys want to make, feel free to do so. It's your stream. I'm sure you guys get tired of hearing me babbling. And I see we have some new people that just joined. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. We do the live stream every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock p.m. until 9. It will end at 8:30 today because I started it early. And we also do the stream on Saturday um, at 12 noon. And you're welcome, Ted. Glad you got it. It's a pretty cool mat, ain't it? I can't tell you how many times I've lost screws and roll pins and springs. CZ Shadow's an awesome gun. I carry, usually when I'm in church, I have a Savage stance. Um, I actually like it almost as much as my Hellcat Pro. And when I have to really conceal, like when I go to work, um, that's what I use. What 2026 gun laws can we expect? It's a good question, John. It depends on the state you're in. Um, every day they keep attacking our Second Amendment rights. Like I said, I used to live in New Jersey, and it's almost like ever since New Jersey started issuing carry permits, um, they're going backwards. So they issue carry permits, and now they're deciding on where sensitive areas are where you can't carry. So they're issuing permits because of the Braun case, because they didn't want to get sued. But now they're limiting where you can carry and where you can't carry. They're also supposed to be hearing about high capacity magazines and assault weapon bans. I don't see any, honestly, in 2026, I don't really see any pro Second Amendment laws. That's just me. I think they just blow smoke up our ass. Like I said, I was at the NRA convention in Dallas last year, and not one of those Second Amendment promises came through. Think I just, yeah, you know what, Dale? I'm not a fan of pocket carrying. I'm just makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. I'm really not a fan of that. I mean, there are subcompacts and micro compacts like the Hellcat Pro, um, the Savage Stance, Ruger RXM. Even you could easily conceal them. I'm just not a fan of people carrying in their pockets. It's almost as bad as women that carry a firearm in their purse. I just cringe when I see them do that. Exactly. Holsters are meant for a reason. And, you know, the women that get a firearm and they just throw it in their purse, you know how much crap they have in their purse to get caught in the trigger guard. Um, Besides the fact that contents move. So if you throw a gun in a purse, you never really know what a safe direction is. Then if you put the purse down and it gets stolen, now they have your gun and your purse. It's way too much work. And honestly, I just have a problem with pocket carry. I have a friend of mine that's a cop, and he loves to pocket carry, and I've been trying to talk him out of that for years. Um, some of the subcompacts are really not much bigger than those so-called pocket pistols. Um, and with the right holster and a good gun belt, you can conceal anything. But um, the Glock 19, the Ruger RXM, the Hellcat Pro, they're all very, very concealable. I just don't see the purpose of carrying in your pocket. To me, carrying on your pocket is almost like, yeah, I've seen some women carrying their bra. They also have bra holsters. But to me, carrying in your pocket is almost like carrying off body. Eventually, you're going to have to take your jacket off, right? And now what? Now you got your firearm sitting in the pocket of your jacket on the back of your chair. Um, all my holsters are leather holsters now. They're all from Tucker and Bird. Um, some of them, they use a Kydex shell and they wrap it with leather. Some are all leather. Um, Kydex holsters to me are just not comfortable. Um, they're all comfortable the first day, but when you carry 7 days a week, 365 like I do, after a while, carrying with a Kydex holster is like walking around with a 2x4 in your pants. I just not a fan. And we got 7 minutes left, so if you guys have any topics you want to discuss or go over, or any questions you want to ask, feel free to do it. Don't be shy. That's one good thing about this stream is that we all share information with each other. Um, everybody doesn't know everything, but everybody knows something. So that's why I like doing this with you guys. Um, I appreciate the dialogue and the relationship I have with my uh, subscribers and viewers. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Mm, you know, John, to each his own. Um, I don't like the click on a polymer holster, to be honest with you. You always hear people arguing about concealed versus open carry. And then you hear the concealed carry guys saying, oh, yeah, but I open carry because I have the element of surprise. You don't know element of surprise when you could hear that Kydex holster in the next county. You just lost that element of surprise hearing that loud, annoying Kydex click. Um, a good quality leather holster. I like the Urban Carry. Urban Carry gives you a leather holster with the piece of plastic inside for the retention. Um, but just pure Kydex, not a fan of that annoying click. Trying to be discreet and carry concealed, and then you draw your firearm and everybody in the room hears it. I'm just not buying that element of surprise argument. But that's just me. I'm old school. I like leather. Nothing beats the look, the feel, and the smell of a leather holster. Um, most leather holsters will last you forever. You could pass them on. Nobody passes on Kydex. And that's just me getting on my ramp. I am old. I'm old school, and I do get very opinionated sometimes. So no disrespect there. It's just how I am being an old guy. And when you think about it, I mean, I'm not going to be doing cartwheels that I really need to have that much retention on my firearm. Okay, Gundoggin, I got to tell you, um, those are tough choices, bro. Um, I have all of them, but the Echelon, bar none. Echelon is one of my favorite. Um, don't know if you're aware of it or not, but that Echelon out of the box has a pin configuration, and the Echelon can accommodate 30 different optics without an optic plate. So I also love the Hellcat Pro, but the Echelon is just an awesome, awesome gun. It's one of my favorite. Okay, Nick, welcome. You stuck between a 3-inch Ruger SP11 Smith & Wesson Model 60. Any advice? Okay. I would definitely go with a 3-inch, especially if you're going to carry. 4 inches too bulky. 3 inches just the right sweet spot, I guess you can call it. I just bought the Ruger GP100. It's a lot bulky. Well, not bulkier. It's built like a tank. It's got a 3-inch barrel. You probably should look at that. I'm not a fan. I had a Smith & Wesson Model 60. If you're looking for lighter weight, then yes, the Ruger SP101 is a great gun. But I went with the GP100 because I wanted 6 rounds. Zombie, to answer your question, and welcome. That is actually a great question. And yes, there is a reason. And however, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. The Glock 17 is a great gun for the range. Little bulky for everyday carry. Glock 19 is perfect. In my opinion, what I did is I got the Glock 19X. Gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you the full-size frame with the compact slide, so you can use 17-round magazines in it. So if it were me, I'd go with the Glock 19X. The Glock 17 versus Glock 19, they're both great everyday carry guns. And I'll be honest with you, the barrel length is not that significant that if you were going to shoot in competition, it would matter. All right, Gundog, and thanks, brother. Glad to have you on here. Yeah, God damn it, that California shit. I'm so spoiled. When I lived in New Jersey, it was almost impossible to get a pistol. You had to apply for a pistol permit, blah, blah, blah. And now in Tennessee, you just go pay the guy and you go home. We don't have any restrictions. So I'm sorry to digress. So, Nick, I hope that answered your question. Yeah, I don't know how gun enthusiasts even live in California. I mean, what California does is the list of guns that are available gets smaller and smaller. Eventually, you're not going to even be able to buy a gun, California. All right, guys, it is 8:30. I will be ending this stream now. I apologize, but I did start it a half an hour earlier because of my schedule. I actually have other things to do. But I enjoy having all you guys. And how you doing there, Ted? I'm sorry, brother. I'm ending this stream now. I started it at 7:30. I have stuff to do at 8:30. That's why I started it early. I apologize for that. Saturday, probably going to be late in the afternoon again. And John, anytime, glad I could help. Catch you next time as well. But like I was saying earlier, until the holidays are over, the schedule is just going to change. Zombie, you'll love you'll love Tennessee. It's a red state, no magazine restrictions, no pistol permits required, no firearms ID card, and is very Republican. And I appreciate the kind words there, Zombie. I try my best to make the channel better. And Ted, sorry, brother. I probably should have posted it, but I got back from the gym a little too late today. But after the holidays are over, we'll get back to a more rigid schedule. But in the meantime, life gets in the way until the holidays are out of the way. But anyway, we'll still try to be here. I will also be doing the live stream Christmas Eve, even though it's a Wednesday and it's a holiday. I'll do it anyway to see if anybody wants it. Anyway, thank you all for joining. Thanks for the kind words. Love you all. Catch you next time. Those of you who are new and you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.